Okay, here's the beginning steps to getting yourself started with EchoLink. Let's go to EchoLink.org. Search for that web page, EchoLink.org. Once you get to that page, it will have a place that you can install EchoLink. The upper right corner of the page has links to the EchoLink app on the Play Store and on the App Store. Or you can just take a shortcut and type into your phone install EchoLink and it'll probably do it. Once the EchoLink app is installed, open EchoLink and then attempt to log in with your call sign into EchoLink. You should be able to give it your call sign. If not, go to settings and enter it there. So once you're logged in, you're going to want to go back to the EchoLink.org webpage and validate yourself. Click validate and follow the instructions. So let's go to that website, introducing EchoLink. Let's take a look in that upper right corner we've talked about. The iPhone app is here, the Android app is here, the Play Store and the App Store. So get the app there and install it and run it. Go back and look at that chart if you want of the basic procedure and beginning steps. We want to go over to validation on the left hand side and click that. They want your call sign, so I'm going to give mine, KC8VX, and continue. Now I am already validated, but you will be listed as ready for validation, as I would be if I was running a repeater. I'm ready, but I'm not going to need that repeater validation. So you should be saying, it should be something they're saying, ready for validation, and they want your email address, and you put your email address in there, in that box, and then request the validation. They will send you instructions in your email and set up basically a contact link with you, and you can begin the validation process. Now, to validate, you must have a copy of your license printed out or the PDF version of your license. This has to be submitted to EchoLink via email, via regular snail mail, but somehow you have to send them your license, and then manually they will look through it and check and see if you're actually a licensed amateur with the required privileges. So a tech license will get you in, a novice will not. So request the validation and go from there. You'll be given an instruction as to how to email your PDF of your license to them, or you can take a picture of your license and mail that to them. So that's basically the overview of it. Talk about getting into EchoLink and setting up some of the levels and looking at a few features of EchoLink. Okay, let's take and run EchoLink here and see what we can do with it, and especially set our levels. There's my EchoLink app, lower left corner there. I'll tap it. It opens up. It logs me in. And the EchoTest server is right there on top. I'll just do a real quick here. If we are in this position here with the general search, I could tap repeaters, and you see there are an unlimited number of, it's a huge number of repeaters. You're almost going to have to do a search in the upper right corner and search for some particular station, like our station, NY7AR, and do a search for that, and we find it. So you can search by country, by repeater name, and actually there are nodes and links that you can type in. So experiment with that, see what you can find. If you want to get into some DXing, that's where you can go and find pretty much everybody out there. I'm going to go to the upper right star. There's my favorites. I'm going to go to Echo Test Server and connect to it, and notice I can add it to favorites, and it'll be there when I press the star. I'm connecting to it, and listen to the audio level.
Welcome to the EchoLink test server. This server records your transmissions and plays them back to help you adjust your transmitted and received audio. Please feel free to connect as often as you like.
I'm going to transmit now, and it'll echo back to me what I transmit. This is KC8VX logging in and talking into the Echo Test server, and I'm going to be listening for my level compared to the Echo Test server level, just by ear, see how well I'm doing. I'm going to stop the TX, and it should talk back to me. This is KC8VX logging in and talking into the Echo Test server, and I'm going to be listening for my level compared to the Echo Test server level, just by ear, see how well I'm doing. I'm going to stop the TX, and it should talk back to me. Okay, if I didn't like the level, let's go to the upper three dots in the right upper corner and select Settings. And here's microphone gain here, kind of in the middle. I'm set at plus 6 dB, but let's tap it. We have a range here. Moving it up to minus 12 dB gets much, much quieter. Moving down to plus 18 makes it much, much louder and stronger. And also, there's the phone itself in the record mode here is trying to make my level sound the same. So you really need to get feedback from folks on the net as to how you're sounding. But this is the place where you make it louder or quieter. Let me just move to, well, I'll go to minus 6 dB, and that should be quite a bit quieter. But again, my phone is fighting that as I'm doing the recording. And let's go back to the Echo Test server. I'm going to transmit at at plus 6. KC8VX testing. Now, one thing you'll notice, the level on the bottom bar graph is quite low, and where you're going to be quite quiet on the net, and everybody's going to be cranking their volume up to 3/4 or full to hear you. So let's stop the transmit and see what we get. KC8VX testing. Now, one thing you'll notice, the level on the bottom bar graph is quite low, and where you're going to be quite quiet on the net, and everybody's going to be cranking their volume up to 3/4 or full to hear you. So let's stop the transmit and see what we get. Okay, going back over to the settings again, I'm going to put myself back to the microphone gain of plus 6, because that seemed to work better for me. And I'll leave it there. And going back to the test server, make one final check. KC8VX testing EchoLink server. Notice the bottom bar. If I talk on my voice peaks, it does tap into the right. So a little bit of distortion, but for the most part, a pretty good level. You can talk quieter and louder at this point. Again, my recording of the phone here is trying to compensate. Anyway, let's listen to it. KC8VX testing EchoLink server. Notice the bottom bar. If I
talk on my voice peaks, it does tap into the right. So a little bit of distortion, but for the most part, a pretty good level. You can talk quieter and louder at this point. Again, my recording of the phone here is trying to compensate. Anyway, let's listen to it.
Okay, let's end our connection to EchoLink. And let's go back and look around at a few things. And we can actually, since some of us are on EchoLink, when we're on the net, you can actually use both inputs. If you can get into Eagle Repeater, you're all set. If not, then you can use EchoLink. So there's my favorites. There's quite a few there. There's a number of settings across the top. Just experiment with it and play with EchoLink until you feel comfortable with it. You don't have to be on the net to use EchoLink. Just get on anytime and give a yell into the Eagle Repeater. And if somebody's around, we can answer you and let you know what your levels sound like and so on. So that's about it for this video. To quit EchoLink, I use the back arrow. Exit, are you sure? Yes. And now what I'll do is stop